Hello everyone, Rider Rated 18 coming back at you with another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Arrow Video Blu-Ray release of the 1988 comedy film A Fish Called Wanda, starring John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline and Michael Palin. This is truly one of the funniest comedies of all time. It's definitely one of my favourites. It's definitely up there. It's one of my all-time favourite films where I can sit back and watch it any time of the year. If I'm having a bad day, I could always stick on A Fish Called Wanda. But I think it's interesting to talk about this title because this is an Arrow Video Blu-ray that is currently out of print. Now, currently filming this in February 2025, it is no longer listed on the Arrow Video website. So it's now out of stock, it's out of print, it's not available. So the only way to probably get it is if there might be a few HMV stores that might still have sealed copies, or if you can find any on eBay. But as far as I know, it's no longer available. So that could mean one of two things. Either Arrow no longer have the distribution rights for it, or there could be a 4K in the works. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm pretty sure they no longer have the distribution rights to it. Now, as I said, I got this way back in 2017, probably during that first week it was released, because I just absolutely wanted to get it, because it's one of my favourite films of all time, as I just said. So when I first saw this, I'm pretty sure it was the premiere on BBC One back in 1991, I think it was, and it was on very late, and I remember staying up with my brother watching it, and it was just super funny with all the great performances from Cleese and Palin, Palin with the stutter and all that, and I remembered it very vividly. And then it was always a film I wanted to own on physical media, and then happily this version came along. There's a lot of great scenes of pure comedy. There's a lot of arguing, a lot of bickering, a lot of misdemeanors, and just some outstanding performances. And it's no wonder that Kevin Kline won Best Supporting Actor this year at the Oscars. So in terms of the Blu-ray itself, it's a very good release from Arrow. It has a very nice slipcover. One of these sort of old-style slipcovers that they used to have when it was made of some sort of different material. I think they've changed the material on some of the recent ones, but remember this one being quite nice. There's also a nice booklet on the inside of it. And it's just a quintessential release in that regard. But in terms of its bonus features, this is where this release really, really shines, because there is so much to delve into. So we'll get into that right now. So for starters, there is a commentary by John Cleese, which is very informative and very amusing. He literally goes into so many details throughout the entire film, and it's an absolute must listen. One of the main highlights of this release is the 1988 original documentary that was filmed on set. It does have on-set interviews and a lot of on-set footage of them filming around London, around Heathrow Airport, interviews with all the cast and director Charles Crichton, and you do get a real sense of detail about how this film was made. You see some rehearsal footage, and you see John Cleese really working on it, and it's very informative. And this is sort of stuff that I'm glad we get on these releases, because a lot of this could be lost forever if it was on a previous release, but happily it's all on here, and it's definitely worth seeking out. There's also a 15th anniversary retrospective, which is about 30 minutes long, and again it features newer interviews with the cast, John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Palin and Kevin Kline, and also one of the producers, I think. And this was made in 2003, and as far as I know, this was on the previous special edition DVD that came out around 2003, so that would be the 15th anniversary, so that's been ported over. So again, that's a highlight. There's been previous bonus features on a previous release that have been ported over to this one. There's also an appreciation featurette presented by Vic Pratt. Now, these are quite common on Arrow. It's basically someone who goes over the film in quite detail. It's almost like a visual video essay, and he goes into a lot of details about the film, about how it was made, and a real appreciation for the work that John Cleese put into this film, because you have to remember that before this film, John Cleese was pretty much known as Basil Fawlty, or the guy in the parrot shop, or the Minister of Silly Walks, and so you really get to see that this really propelled John Cleese into the mainstream of how much he wanted to really push a comedy film for the mainstream audience. There's also a brand new interview with the production designer Robert Murray Leach, I think that's how you say his name. And it's only about 7 minutes long. It's not a very big interview, but it's a new one that was filmed specifically for this release. There is also a very good guide of the film's London locations that's hosted by Robert Powell, and that's about 16 minutes long. So you get to see some of the London locations, from recently. And that's what's great about this film. It was filmed entirely on location throughout London, West London, and of course, right next to Heathrow Airport. So that's always very informative. And also there's a very funny introduction from John Cleese, which I don't know where this came from. It must have been shown for the premiere, or it might have been shown for another release or a showing somewhere, but I don't recall ever seeing it until this release came out. And he's basically sitting there for 5 minutes, and he does like this monologue, and it's very, very amusing. It's typical John Cleese. Also, one of the other highlights is there's about 30 minutes worth of deleted and alternate scenes with John Cleese talking us through every single one of them. And this goes on for so long. There's so much that was chopped from this film. Again, a good 30 minutes worth. So you do get to see a lot of, new footage, some deleted scenes, some alternate scenes. And again, this is stuff that I really love on these Blu-rays. You get to see, what the film could have been like had they not chopped it, have they not chopped a lot of footage. And it's always good to look at. And then you got the usual standard stuff like an image gallery, there's a trivia track, and also the theatrical trailer as well. And also, finally, for the audio, there's the original English mono and the brand new 5.1 surround sound. Get my words right there. So basically, that's it. And I would highly recommend, if you can find A Fish Called Wanda on Arrow Video Blu-ray, definitely worth getting. Definitely worth getting. Can't get my words mixed up here. And it's a real highlight of the collection. And, if I was to put this in my top 10 or sort of top 18 films of all time, this would definitely be in there. It's definitely one of the best comedies you'll ever see. And if you've never seen it, it's worth getting. Or if you haven't seen it for many years, definitely go back to it. And it's worth seeking out, because this is one of the very few Arrow titles that, as I said at the start of the video, is out of print. So you can't get it at the moment. So yeah, I'm just really glad I got it, because, once it's out of print, it's out of print. So yeah, that's my take on the A Fish Called Wanda Blu-ray set from Arrow Video. And again, thanks very much for all the positive responses and comments that I've got from previous videos, and I'm hoping to do more of these. I'm sort of looking into, again, releases that I think are worth talking about, ones that have got a lot of detail, a lot of bonus features, because I don't really want to talk about the film. I just want to talk about, what's on the actual disc, because anyone can talk about, film reviews, and they can say what they want about films themselves, but it's always important to point out what's on the actual release, so that you can give a bit more in-depth guide as to what you're getting what you're buying your money's worth for. So yeah, that sounded really weird. So yeah, so for now, take care, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.